Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are looking at part 2, the finale of my Pokemon Emerald Rogue playthrough and review. A review through. Pokemon Rogue is a stellar Pokemon fan game mixing traditional Gen 3 Pokemon with roguelike elements. This game really surprised me with how fun and replayable its runs are, offering a unique permadeath twist on traditional Pokemon gameplay. Jumping right into where we left off after we collected all 8 gym badges, had some tragic losses, and are currently en route to the first Elite Four member, let's jump right in. Before we challenge our first Elite Four member, can we just take a moment to remember the Fallen? It all started with you, Jumanji. You're a great stealthy shadow and a true shining gem in our journey. Onyx, you had terrible luck being tailwinded into Atropius, but you are not forgotten. Anno the Anorant, we will miss your amazing cutting claws. Kyogre, you were a mistake for losing to an inferior Relicanth. Jinx, you were very replaceable. And, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Nah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Now that we have paid our respects to our team, it's time to continue our battles to redeem our fallen friends' efforts. In the journey to the Elite Four, I truly underestimated some of these trainers, and well, oh boy.
What the dog doing?
Embark the Entei was the newest addition to the team, and the newest member of the Fallen Squad. But coming up next, we run into a new encounter, the Pokemon Lab. I didn't know what to expect going into this one as it was a PC icon, but upon entering we see Professor Birch. What a nice surprise, and what a familiar face. I'm sure he won't try to screw us over unlike that damn host show from last episode. And I was right. Birch has secretly been curating some element 115 in his lab and gives you the option to revive one of 3 randomly selected fainted Pokemon from your current run. We have the option between a Paris, Kyogre, and Embark. Well, long time no see, friends. I think the obvious choice here is Paris. Nah, just kidding. Let's welcome back Kyogre. Moving on to the Elite Four, we have to put on our big boy pants. There is no longer any way to predict what Pokemon type the challenger will use. Kicking off the Elite Four, we have Drake, the ferocious dragon type Elite Four member from Hoenn. I have Twister starting off the battle here, which isn't amazing, but we'll just have to see what we can work with here. It's too risky for a swap, so I'm just going to try to land a Dragon Rush, and thankfully the Dragon type matchup doesn't roll us straight away. Next up, he sends out Flygon and immediately hits a U-turn to swap out to Kingdra. Oh hell no, I have to outspeed here to get rid of this threat, or I have to swap. Whew, that was lucky. Flygon returns and gets the speed advantage to land a devastating Outrage. Twister just holds on, but I have to swap out here now. Hey, look, it's me! Well, I know what keeps Dragonite up at night in fear, so let's swap to our newly revived Kyogre. The enemy Dragonite lands an Outrage that shouldn't have been too bad, but oh my god, a critical. Kyogre is swimming his way back to its grave already. That was way too close. Kyogre lands the Ice Beam as revenge, and next up we have a Rayquaza. Oh wow, they're really turning up the heat now. This is like a recreation of the Gen 3 game's Emerald cutscenes. We're making out a Sutopolis city with this one. I can't keep risking keeping Kyogre out, so it's time to bring out Gary to exploit Rayquaza's 4 times ice phobia. He lands a fly, but that isn't enough to stop Gary. Lastly, we have a Latias, and oh wow, they're really going with the legendaries here. Latias starts off with a Draco Meteor, and oh my, that one really hurts. Oh, Gary, no. Gary has been with us for such a long time and was a staple to the team. He will not be forgotten. Kix, it's your time to redeem Gary, and he winds down the Latias' health, but the favor is returned both ways. Vileplume, it's your time to blossom, and I land a Toxic in hopes to stall out the Latias, who then uses Struggle? That's really weird. It only had Draco Meteor and then it just ended itself. But we were successful. We have defeated the first Elite Four member, but at what cost? Next up, we have a new unique encounter, which is Professor Oak's Shadow? Dark deal? Well, this does look interesting. Let's take a look at what this entails. A choice, hey? I hope this doesn't end up being like the game show host. We have a choice between a Shed Skin Charm, a Priority Charm, and a Catching Charm. This is interesting. I'm going to go for the Priority Charm here as I don't see Shed Skin or Catching Pokemon being as helpful as a battle move priority. Of course, there is a twist. We get cursed with the Endure Curse. My Pokemon gain the buff of occasionally getting priority, but the Pokemon on the enemy team can sometimes endure one-hit KOs. This is a decent trade-off in my opinion. We'll be able to occasionally get priority moves, which is helpful for slow Pokemon, but they might sometimes endure the hit. Next up, we get a new legendary encounter, and it's Rayquaza. That's great timing. We need a new Pokemon to replace Gary, and the flying type is a great replacement. Let's catch our new pal and name him Roses Jr., named after a certain Ray. I prepared for the battle with Dragonite being in my first slot, as she was very good luck last time, and the next challenger to face is Sidney, the Dark type Elite 4 member. Sharpedo is a decent matchup here, and wow, would you look at that, it's our first priority charm coming in. Haha, oh well, that was a bit unfortunate. Well, let's go in for the kill as he can't protect again now. And I get a miss, which is unfortunate as Sharpedo starts to mow down my health a bit, but I won't miss twice. Next up we have a Tyranitar, and Twister doesn't want any of that smoke. Let's bring out Kyogre. Kyogre takes the hit and is able to take down Tyranitar. Next up is Shiftry, who is a great matchup for Kyogre, so I stay in and hit him with the Ice Beam. Umbreon is up next, and I'm going to try for one more enemy feint here, and it lands. Sableye is up next. Jumanji, how could you? But I'm pretty sure I can outspeed here, and I doubt a Sucker Punch would kill. And he lands a solid knockoff. I'm going to have to swap actually. Let's send out Charizard here to finish the job. Lastly, we have a Houndoom, so let's keep Charizard out to endure any fire type damage and finish off Sidney's last Pokemon. Moving through the encounters in this route, and these challenges aren't messing around. They are really keeping me on my toes here. Oh wow, this Magma Trainer has a Charizard. Oh well, they're no match for my Kyogre, and there it is, there's the Endure Curse. Hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt me, and that was actually a really close call. No! The Endure Curse has already haunted Kyogre to their second grave. I hope you can rest in peace again, you magnificent whale. For the third challenger, we have Phoebe, the Ghost type Elite 4 Hoenn member. We're going to go into this battle with only 5 Pokemon, but maybe she can help lift my curse that has been plaguing my team. I'm going to start off with Charizard here, and oh wow, that was lucky. The first Pokemon is actually Shedinja. They land a Shadow Sneak, but that isn't enough to stop the Zard. Either is yet another Endure from our curse, but Charbonz is easily able to secure the defeat. Coming up next, we have Tentacruel, so that's an easy switch to Kix to take advantage of its psychic weakness. Dusclops is next, what an iconic Pokemon for Phoebe, and I'm gonna stay with Kix here to keep Shadow Balling him until he faints. Gengar is swapped in next, so let's swap to Charizard to tank some hits, and that's really unfortunate. Can't have Poison ruining my run, so let's swap out to Twister here and send off an Earthquake. Gengar, of course, endures the hit. Damn Endure Curse, but let's finish him off. Butterfree is up next, and now that's an easy sweep for Dragonite's Flying Stab. Of course, the Endure RNG gods have something else on their mind. Lastly, we have another Sableye. Sapphire, is that you? Who lands a burn on Vileplume, but I am able to push through healing the burn damage with Giga Drain. These battles sure are heating up. I really need to find a replacement for Kyogre, and I run into Tyranitar, who will be a perfect slot in. Welcome to the team, Skip. I didn't run into any other new encounters here, so let's just jump right into the final Elite 4 member. I'm going to lead with Charbonz, and we have Glacia as our final challenger. She starts with Glalie, so let's go for a Flamethrower, and of course, we have an Endure to start the battle. Lovely. But I land a burn. This is really good for us because it was still KO the next round, and Sneasel is swapped in. Lands a Fake Out and a Surf, taking huge chunk of my health. I go for another Flamethrower to finish them off as I know they'll die from one hit. Next up is Pillow-Swine. Let's swap out to Charbonz for safety and debut Skip's Raw Power. Skip is able to push through. Cloyster comes out next, and let's get out Kix here to crush this ice. And oh my god, that was way too close. Articuno is next, so let's get out Skip, who is gonna make Articuno shake in its boots with its 4 times weakness. Skip tanks out Articuno's priority, and Lapras is out next. I go to try to outspeed here, but Skip has met his early demise. Thank you for skipping through our hearts, Skip. I know the man to take care of this Lapras. All of my Pokemon are pretty low on health here or weak to ice, but I know Kix is going to come in clutch. I can feel it. Kix nails the one-hit KO and finishes off the last Elite 4 member. We really need a replacement for our 6th slot, so let's go to the next route and check out what the next Pokemon is, and oh wow, it's actually another Skip, exactly who I needed. Let's catch him and add Skip 2.0 to the team. Let's continue through the route, and we have another trainer battle here, and it's just a school kid, it can't be anything too crazy, right? And oh my god, a Latias. This is really not good. They are a formidable foe as we saw earlier, and it looks like the hands of fate have come for Kix. Kix, you had one hell of a run. You're an absolute glass cannon, and you smashed out so many victories. You will be missed for your killer roundhouses. Let's look for another replacement again, and what do we have here? A Sableye? No way. I run into the final rest spot, and I see a new encounter. I haven't seen this person before, so let's talk to them. I can either swap out one Pokemon or your entire team for random Pokemon? That's insane. I love it. Let's go for swapping out one Pokemon just for a little bit of added extra spice, but I would love to swap the entire team another time in a different run. I'm so sorry, Sapphire. You didn't even come out of your Pokeball and you've easily lived the shortest life. But let's see who we got. And wow, we got a Swampert. Okay, say hello to Mudsworth the Swampert. It's finally time. Finally, the champion. After all this time, all these blood and tears that have been shed, all the chaos of the randomized roguelike aspects, and we are ready for the final fight to decide the ages. Everything has been leading up to this, and if I recall correctly, it will either be between Blue from Fire Red Leaf Green, Steven from Sapphire Ruby, or Wallace from Emerald. There is the option to enable Gen 2 leaders and champions, but I don't have that enabled, so I don't think Lance is going to come up. I'm just going to have to go for one of my all-round strongest Pokemon, which is Skip, and let's see how it goes. And our final challenger is Wallace, the Water-type champion. That's a terrible matchup for Skip. Let's swap him off. And his perpetual nightmare of facing an entire water team will be subsided. Well, I know who could be the savior in this scenario. Let's send out Vilegloom and really make them shine. Mantine is our first opponent and starts off stalling with a lot of roosts, but Vilegloom is able to call through this bluff and persist through the continuous healing. Next up is Feraligatr, who packs a strong Ice Punch, but is no match for Vilegloom's hidden repressed rage for all his friends that he journeyed with until now. Politoed is next and lands a devastating Ice Beam, but Vilegloom is able to restore HP using a Giga Drain and make quick work of them. Sharpedo comes in next with an Ice Beam. Thankfully, Vilegloom holds on and recovers the worst of the damage, but this is bad. Pelipper has been sent out and can easily sweep my Vilegloom, so I'm going to have to swap out here. Almost all the remainder of my team is weak to either ice or water, so I'm going to have to swap over to Twister to get the 4x Thunderbolt and take him down as quickly as possible. Last up is Kyogre. Wow, look at that, there's so many different imposters on the other side. I'm betting on Kyogre having an ice move here, and I know that Dragonite is 4 times weak to this, but I'm hoping that he can endure through it as it isn't a stab type for Kyogre. And oh my god, 19 health remaining and barely any damage from the Thunderbolt. I need to swap to Mudsworth to mainly stall out the remainder of the fight, and he pulls through with 6 HP remaining. What a victory. That was an amazing fight. That was extremely close. I can't believe I've made it. It's been such a long journey, and I thought that was the end, but that's not all. On top of the champion, there is another additional strong trainer, which I did not know about, which is going to put our run at risk of death knocking on our door one final time. After completing all the gym badges and the Elite Four and its champion, there's one more randomly selected master trainer who blocks our success to the Hall of Fame legacy. We have 2 last remaining events to quickly knock off before the final mystery fight, so hopefully they aren't too difficult. Coming up first is an unavoidable trainer battle, so let's just jump right into that one. Hope there aren't that many legendaries, and wait, it's me? My character? 2 sausages? That's so cool. It's a 1-for-1 Ditto team, an exact replica. This is a really great battle idea. I actually really like this. Skip 2.0 takes out Fake Skip and manages to take down the enemy Vileplume, which isn't shiny, interestingly enough. Dragonite is next, so let's take out Mudsworth to take him down, and Rayquaza is next to follow. There's only one man for this job. Make quick work of them, Roses Jr., you can do it. But they're one step ahead, they actually eat a berry to reduce dragon type moves, and they're actually able to overturn the tables and take down Roses Jr. Oh no, you died to a version of yourself, but your name will be etched into the clouds forever. Rest in peace, legend. I send out Twister to finish him off, and next comes out Charizard. I stick with Twister to use electric moves and take down the imposter Charbuns. And lastly, we have Swampert, so you can imagine that there's only one person for this job. It's time for Vilegloom to dominate. Only one encounter remains and luck is on our side. The final encounter is a PC stop, aka the Zombie Research Lab. Our choices are Skip, the original, Kix, and Roses Jr., who literally only just faded last battle. I'm gonna have to go with Kix, my beloved. So I organize my Pokemon, use any items to buff my Pokemon to the absolute max, and I march forward to the final fight within this game. I don't even know what to expect here. Are these the champion rematches from the games? Souped up gym or Elite Four battles? Or even something completely new? I enter this room and I immediately get reminded of the peak of Mount Silver, and suddenly my mind was immediately flooded with dread thinking back to the original battle with Red in the 2nd generation.
Leave me alone!
I use Calm Mind to prepare my senses and walk forward, onwards to our final major challenge of this game, and the trainer is Steven Stone, the powerful post-story boss of Pokemon Emerald. Of course, that makes sense. The most powerful battles would most likely be the super bosses after the champion battle. Steven starts off with a Skarmory, so I'm going to try to take it down with Skips 2.0. I barely managed to scrape by, and up next is Steelix. Time to swap to Charbonds to deal some major damage here, and oh wow, look at that, a natural ability Sturdy Resist. I'm so used to seeing the Endure curse, so it's actually kind of refreshing to see a natural ability Endure. Steelix is taken down, so up next is Aggron, and Aggron absolutely annihilates Charbonds, and we have our first loss of the final battle. Charbonds, he won't be forgotten. I'm going to send out Kicks here to secure the kill, and then Steven swaps to Latios, the sneaky stone collector. He must have gazed upon his crystal ball to foresight that switch. Latios unfortunately decimates Kicks, and now we are down another Pokemon already. Things aren't looking amazing. We're already 2 Pokemon down, and Steven has some seriously hard hitters. Let's swap over to Twister here, and I managed to get the Latios down while losing a huge chunk of my HP. Next up is Celebi. That's an interesting pick. I should be able to take this out easy with one shot. Luck was in my favor here. I'm not sure why he had a grass type. It's all down to this, the final Pokemon. I'm up to the last Pokemon in the game, and let's just rip off the band-aid and see who he's got. And Jirachi, interesting pick. Initially, I have a major mind blank and completely forget that Jirachi is part Steel type. So this results in Twister getting sacrificed. Farewell Twister, you spun an interesting tale. I need to send out the one Pokemon that I believe can absolutely take care of this, our very own shiny mascot, Vilegloom. But this Jirachi is a savage. Vilegloom is obliviated with Iron Head after Iron Head, resulting in numerous flinches in a row until Vilegloom's demise. Rest in peace, Vilegloom. You shined a light when no one else could. Now I have only 2 remaining Pokemon, so I'm just going to have to send out Mudsworth and see how I go, but it's no good. Jirachi is an unbeatable flinch cannon. Every Iron Head this Pokemon is doing is outspeeding me and causing me to flinch. I'm about to lose my Pokemon here and the entire run just due to an endless barrage of Iron Heads. But at the last second, a miracle happens. It's miraculous. Mudsworth is finally able to land his first hit, landing a significant amount of damage. Another brutal Iron Head onslaught is approaching, and Mudsworth's time is waning, and it's critical how much time is left. At this point, I'm entirely giving up hope. I know this run is doomed, but finally, Mudsworth is able to sneak out one last final surf, and it's finally done. This is it. The sun is setting on this Pokemon Emerald Rogue journey. It's finally over. It's finally complete. What a journey. The extra surprise champion really threw me off guard and was the icing on top of a cake of an already fantastic Pokemon game. With the champion triumphantly defeated, let's jump right into my thoughts on this amazing title. This was certainly an unforgettable journey. Pokemon Emerald Rogue has satisfied an itch I never thought that I had, bringing forward a Pokemon roguelike crossover that I didn't even know was possible. Pokemon is already such a fantastic replayable game, with many variations of games such as randomizers, Nuzlocke, and just general replays offering something new to experience every time. The randomized routes are fantastic, incorporating tiles from both Fire Red and Leaf Green, and Sapphire, Ruby, and Emerald brings really only the best to the table. And the money allocation and budgeting in this title is really balanced instead of having a huge amount of cash to splurge out at any time. The only downsides of this title holding it back from being the ultimate is just the limitation of only having gym leaders and challenges up to Generation 3 only. The ability to toggle the option to play with Pokemons up to Generation 8 in this game is so amazing. Being able to customize exactly what generations of Pokemon to play with is a phenomenal customization option. The building blocks to making this the ultimate Pokemon game are already laid out in this title. By adding in the remaining generation challenges, some Gen 9 Pokemon, and more unique events that make this game so great, would elevate this title into the ultimate Pokemon master status. With this title incorporating the best aspects of roguelike games, this title is an ultimate streamlined replayable Pokemon experience. It's so fun to try replaying runs, trying out new strategies. It's super quick and snappy to try to get through a run of all the gym leaders and the champion for a best time. And in general, the gameplay is really fun. It's an onslaught of Pokemon knowledge. Pokemon Emerald Rogue easily exceeded all of my expectations, and it is now one of my favorite Pokemon ROM hack experiences ever. I'm going to give this game an incredibly solid 9 out of 10. Keep up the great work. Everyone is super eager to see what comes next in the future of Pokemon Emerald Rogue. Thanks so much for checking out part 2 of my Pokemon Emerald Rogue review through. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and commenting and liking on the video. I certainly had a blast making this, and I am planning to make more Pokemon Emerald Rogue content in the future, including a hardcore Nuzlocke run with all the Pokemon from Gen 1 to 8 enabled. So if you enjoyed today's content and like the sound of that, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks again for checking out my review. As always, have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one.